I don't really have anything else I want to talk about right now.
How about Star Wars?
We can talk about Star Wars.
Star Wars?
Let's do that.
Star Wars.
All the time.
I've been slowly catching up on Clone Wars because that's really the only canonical thing that I haven't seen yet. And still been doing pretty well with watching the new episodes of Rebels as they come out. I think I have not seen the last one, possibly two, if one came out today. But it's still super solid because Ahsoka's back on Rebels. Not Cody, but Rex and two of his clone trooper bros are in the show
cool
now.
That they're doing that, man.
Rex is badass.
And
When
Vader.
does this take place? This is
right before Star Wars.
right before New Hope, then.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Like a couple years.
All right.
Yeah, Vader and shit in there, right? Vader's
Vader,
in there? Yeah.
TIE fighters. I mean, it's stormtroopers, everything. And Vader now knows that Ahsoka's alive.
Oh, shit.
And Ahsoka doesn't know that Vader is Anakin, but she's like going off on her own trying to figure out who the Sith Lord is because she thinks she has her suspicions, but she's not sure. So she's kind of going off on her own trying to figure out what's up with
Wow.
with
That's
Big
really
Vader.
cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a really good show. And I am in, I think, episode 21 of season 3 of Clone Wars, and that was the one that you were talking about with the Predator episode, where the Trandoshans are they kidnapped Ahsoka and dropped her on the planet.
Yeah,
They're gonna go hunt
that's
her.
a good one. I remember that.
Amazing
Yeah.
episode, man. Yeah.
It's like 7 or 8 of these Bosk guys
Yeah.
going around, and they drop them off, and she the other Jedi Padawans found her whenever they dropped her off.
Man,
I haven't finished that episode yet, so don't spoil it.
let me just say that whenever it got into about a quarter of the way into season 3, that show just fucking skyrocketed.
I told you, dude. I told you guys the show gets better as you watch
I mean,
it.
the first season's not bad, but I mean, you got to kind of like, all right, I need to watch this and just kind of not power through it, but kind of make yourself keep going through it.
It goes episode to episode for so long. I mean, I feel like most of the first season was like that, and most of the second season. And then you get a little ways into the third season. Like I said, maybe even a quarter of the way through.
And then everything's 2 or 3 parters.
And
back
dude,
to back
when
to
they
back to
start
back
doing,
to
I
back
don't
to
know
back
if
to
they
back.
changed writers or maybe they just gave their writers a different mandate or something. But holy cow!
Dude, the one right before the Predator episode is the 2 or 3 episode arc with Grand Moff Tarkin, or not Grand Moff Tarkin, but
Captain Tarkin. At this
Yeah.
time.
yeah,
that
and
was
he
all
just
really
like keeps
cool,
like
too.
feeding Anakin, just like this isn't like, just like planting the seed of doubt, basically.
Yeah, I thought that was really neat, man. And I couldn't shut up about it after I watched it. But the episode where they get the 2,000-year-old Jedi signal and they go to that diamond-shaped planet.
Oh yeah,
And has
encountered
the Force.
Yeah, and that guy is basically the Force and has a child of light and dark. Man, so cool.
Those 3 episodes probably are my favorite so far.
God, when I watched those episodes, it absolutely blew me away. Like, that was the turning point for me with this show. Like, it was before that, it was leading up to it. I thought the show, like you said, I thought the show was good. It was Star Wars. It was entertaining. But man, when it got into that stuff right there, it's absolutely taken off, man. Absolutely taken off. And I'm doing the same thing Bert's doing. I'm just a little further ahead of him.
About a half a season ahead of me.
It's something, about something like that. And one thing that's always appealed to me about this show is the way that they get into the clone troopers. And I can remember Alan telling me that when he was watching it, like the way that they deal with the clone troopers. And when it gets into the 501st episodes in season 4, it gets so heavy. I mean, to the point where it's like,
the show makes you think about.
Is this a kid's show?
Yeah. They make
You know?
they make
Like,
you think about stuff that you would never have thought about in regards to those characters.
Yeah, and I mean it's
Like
really
for the most part, I'm pretty sure people just see them as cannon fodder
Right. That's the way that the movies portrayed them.
because they pretty much
They are. Yeah.
But then Clone Wars starts getting into like, do these guys have rights?
They give them personalities.
These
and they
these
flesh
guys
out.
are individuals,
Right.
you know, and
they all may look the same, but they all have their own like call signs and nicknames that make them a little bit different.
And they all have their own personalities.
Yes,
and it does hit on that on some of the earlier episodes in the earlier seasons, but it seems like now that they've gotten into a routine of having longer story arcs, 3 or 4 episode story arcs, they really get to dive into that idea.
Yeah.
And it gets really, really good. Oh man.
It's an awesome show, dude.
I thought the first arc of season 4 was that was the Mon
Mothma.
Yes, that was all of that where they're underwater.
No.
Mon
Calamari.
Yeah.
Calamari. Yeah, all of that. It was okay. I didn't dig it as much. I thought it was good.
Yeah, but you get to see
Captain Akbar.
Captain Akbar.
Yeah,
It's an elaborate ruse.
Oh shit! It's Akbar.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. Yeah,
I thought that was cool because you get to see his homeworld. I thought that was neat.
yeah. It's just as far as the story, I felt like it.
No,
was
yeah, I kind of agree with you. It was kind of but it was just neat to see.
Yeah, and they wrap it up in 3 or 4 episodes, and it's cool. And then they get into the 501st shit.
Yep.
And that here again, that's why I was late to work every day this week. It was because I was watching Clone Wars every day. Man, it was so good, so good.
Have you guys got to the episode where one of them goes a little, one of them has a glitch in their programming,
No, I haven't gotten to that yet.
That far.
No.
like the Order 88 stuff.
66.
Order 66.
No.
That's like programmed into all of them, right?
Yeah.
We know that. Well, there's an episode at one point where one of them malfunctions with that protocol, and like during a battle, and like just went and then fucking kills Jedi.
Shit.
Oh,
That's how
Because
Rex and the other 2 that are in Rebels now got out of that because they removed their chip or implants or whatever.
I don't remember what, because it's been a while since I've ran through the show. It's probably at least a year or so. Whenever they put season 6 up on Netflix, I went back through it and finished it up. Which is gonna.
It's weird how much I'm enjoying this show.
6 is.
Yeah. Well, that's the.
It's
one
only
that's
half the
on,
season. It's only like 12
they're
episodes.
probably
Netflix
trying to just
specific
like
ones.
wrap.
They
it
gave
up
it. They gave it to us though, because what happened is they had about half of that going of the ones that they ended up putting out. They had some of that done, and then Disney bought Star Wars, and they canceled the show because it was on Cartoon Network. But they let them try to at least finish out the show, and
Right.
All those episodes that didn't air, Netflix got the hold of it and they put all of them on there. It didn't end that great.
Then it really sucks because I think it was the next season they already had plans to put like Boba Fett in it, not kid Boba Fett that we saw in it, but like
Boba
at
Fett.
least like teenage or like maybe 20-year-old Boba Fett, like like proto armor, the whole 9 yards.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I can't remember what I was talking about when that happens. It's cool though, because like Palpatine like hears about it and he's like, we can't let this get out. It's a secret. Nobody can know about Order 66 yet until I'm ready to initiate Order 66.
Right.
So he's trying to cover it up and shit. It's cool. I just don't remember when it happens.
Which is weird because I mean,
You got to Darth Maul yet?
I mean,
They've referenced it's
You're on
Savage.
season 4.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
it's season 4 where he shows up.
I think it's the end of it.
Yeah.
Near the end of the season 4. But they've referenced it. Bert's seen this.
Bert's in
episode.
Sa- he's on Savage because I saw him
yeah.
watch that episode because it's a good ass episode.
Man, isn't it though?
Yeah.
God, all of that
Yeah.
too.
Old Clancy Brown.
And that was season 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of that was season.
That was
3.
kind of towards the middle of it, I think.
That's for all you listening. That was Savage. Savage Opress.
Yeah.
That's well, if you haven't seen it, I won't say, but they go back to Dothmere, and it's
Darth Maul's
race,
home world, and they get to see his race.
really really neat.
Asajj
episodes.
Ventress is the female of Darth Maul in Savage's race, and a bit like the females are like the rulers of the planet and the
they're
race
like
and everything.
Mystics.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
like-
witches.
they're
Yeah.
witches. Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff.
Then
Man, that show's good.
Yeah.
I just like how like as apathetic as I can be towards the prequel trilogy, how much I'm really, really enjoying and liking Clone Wars. I mean, it's such.
It really has made me like Anakin Skywalker, and I've not liked Anakin Skywalker just because of Hayden Christensen.
Right.
You know?
What's cool about when you finish the show? I mean, I don't know if you guys will or not, but as soon as I finished the show, I could not wait to watch Revenge of the Sith again.
No, that's what I'm doing.
And I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't really care to watch Revenge of the Sith. I don't hate it. That's I don't hate it as much as Clone Wars.
I think it's the strongest out of the prequel trilogy,
I do
but
too.
that's not saying a whole lot.
It has some really cool moments in it. But like by the time I got done watching that show, dude, even like when I was getting ready, like when I only had a few episodes left, I'm like, dude, I got to finish it so I can watch Revenge of the Sith.
Wow.
Just because they do such a good job of leading up to what goes down in that movie.
I think Clone Wars did with Anakin what the movies couldn't do. Like make him a likable character, and then you flip that switch, and you're like, nah, fuck this guy now.
Yeah. I mean, if they just gave that role to a better actor.
That's what I was about to say. Like, they have a voice actor that's how I lovingly like to refer to him as Mannequin Skywalker.
Honestly, I mean, well, in some of the other stuff, he's not that bad. I mean, he's not a great actor by any means.
I like Jumper,
in my opinion. But he's not a terrible actor. Yeah.
Yeah, Jumper's good.
And honestly, I think a lot of the hate that gets put down on him is because of the scripting and the direction.
Well, I mean, that's
the delivery too, though, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious that those movies had some bad writing.
But then the directors are responsible for like the tone that's set by how the actors deliver their lines.
Yeah, well, I mean,
and that's all Lucas, at least in those movies.
Yeah, I mean, you could see Ewan McGregor. He still gave a good performance. I mean, he was a good Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I feel like if
he even had moments too, though, because of some of the dialogue.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody in the movie did. I mean, fucking Christopher Lee was in the movie. I don't know that he had
all his stuff was awesome.
Yeah,
don't even say
that's just because it was Christopher Lee.
Yeah. I don't even know if he had a bad part.
There's no going down that road. Count Dooku was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But everybody, well, Samuel Jackson, he had some shitty.
He had
parts.
some really bad lines.
You know, he had some really shitty parts, man. And
I think with some of that might have been like, I don't know how familiar some of those actors were acting where there's nothing there.
Yeah, I think that had a big part of it too.
Like all that CG shit going on that you got to interact with.
Right.
I don't know.
You know, like in the old Star Wars movies, whenever you were talking to an alien, there wasn't actually a guy in an alien costume in front of you.
That said, I'm really glad that he made He made changes, to the prequels after when they came out on Blu-ray. He changed them again, but the one of the things that I remember changing, the most positive part is that they took that god awful Yoda puppet out of Phantom Menace and just put CG Yoda in there that you see for like the rest of the movies.
Oh yeah,
because that thing looked horrifyingly. But just bad. It was a bad puppet.
Well, that's the thing. Like with the old stuff, you actually had an actor there to talk to and interact with. Like with the Jar Jar stuff and the new ones, they had Ahmed Best with 2 tennis balls up here to where his eyes were, so they were actually like talking to tennis balls the whole time.
Yeah,
and everything was like the whole green screen. There were hardly any sets or set pieces or anything.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe he was. He was pretty young when he did. Attack of the Clones, right?
Christensen?
Yeah.
I
mean, he was fairly young, so maybe he was just getting his bearings or something.
Then
you said he came from being a voice actor, or he's primarily a voice actor.
No, I was just saying that you like Anakin on Clone Wars because it's a voice actor.
Oh no, well,
a good voice actor.
A good voice actor. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Right.
That's why you like that character more, because you're not listening to Hayden Christensen talk.
I think some of it was the casting, because like Hayden Christensen and Natalie Portman have zero chemistry.
No chemistry, dude.
Yeah. None.
No chemistry
Absolutely
whatsoever.
None. I do not buy for one single second that they were ever in love, or that he would ever do anything.
I know.
I mean, remotely.
I feel like maybe she had times where she would just look and go, "Guys, really him?"
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because he was such an emotionless fucking robot. Even when they're like supposed to.
I think that's part of the direction.
Yeah, maybe so, but like when they're doing all the love scene bullshit in Clone Wars, and it's like, and like Force moves an apple over to her, and like
Force moves a CG pair.
I'm like, come on, dude.
Like, this is bad. Like, I don't care.
Let's talk about Clone Wars or something.
Yeah.
Because talking about Clone Wars is bumming me out. Let's talk about Clone Wars.
Well, that's the Anakin character there actually made me like Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I think the movies should have done so that whenever he
Snips.
does finally go to the dark side, it's that much more of an emotional hit. And whenever that happened, I was like, I don't really care. Like, all right, just show me Darth Vader.
I mean, from the movies, you wouldn't even have a character that would nickname a Padawan Snips, or even do half of the stuff that Anakin does that just makes him a likable character in Clone Wars.
Yeah.
No.
Man. You know, it's good stuff. Clone Wars, the redeeming quality of the prequels.
Yes, by far.
It's a
By
badass show,
far.
man.
It is, man. It's really, really good.
For some reason, you guys have not watched that show, and you have Netflix. Go watch that show.
Or maybe you tried, and it was a little rough to get through the first couple seasons. Not that they're bad.
If
but
that's so, just buckle up, man. Sit
Keep
through
going.
it. It
Keep
gets
going.
better.
And honestly, I mean, the way that the series is set up, you don't even really have to watch the first season.
You really don't. I mean, there's
'Cause
maybe
it's-
a few things here or there. Maybe you might
One or
want
two,
to
but I
check out
mean-
the Cad Bane episodes.
You want to,
Yeah.
if you're gonna skip the first season, just watch the last 2 episodes, because that sets up that character.
Yeah.
And it's a
There you go.
2-parter with a cliffhanger, so you're ready to go for season 2.
No.
Yeah. The rest of it you can
Cad
pretty
Bane,
much
dude,
figure
that guy
out.
is such a badass.
Yeah.
man.
Isn't he, though?
And he wins the first time you see him. He fucking wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that just makes him even more badass.
Well, that's another thing I thought about was appealing about the show at the end of that season was like the Republic is not always
they ain't
going
gonna
to
win all the time,
Yeah.
dude. They
Yeah.
lose
They're
a
not
lot.
necessarily
yeah.
always the good guys.
Right. Yeah.
It's like that gray area that the whole show paints is like the Separatists and the Republic aren't. I mean, one's not necessarily always good, and the other one's not necessarily always bad. It depends on your point of view.
That makes me think about that episode where Ahsoka met with Amidala's friend, who was a separatist,
Yeah.
and they were trying to politically work this thing out. But then Ahsoka's talking to
Her son.
her son, the separatist son, you know, and it gets into all this sort of like gray area stuff where it's like Ahsoka's realizing that these are people too.
Yeah.
They have their beliefs just like I have my beliefs, you know. Oh man, it was really, really good. I don't know what season that was. Maybe third season, maybe second
yeah.
season. I don't
No,
know.
I think it was third season.
It's good, man. Good show.
It
Star
really
Wars.
is.
Star Wars.
Star Wars, you guys.
Star Wars.
Dun, dun,
Always
dun,
comes back to Star
dun.
Wars.
We got like 6 weeks.
Oh, dude, I cannot wait.
Counting down.
I think I was thinking about this the episode before it comes out and we go see it. You guys want to do like a Star Wars centric like theory
So the thing
podcast
Yeah.
beforehand is like
Yeah.
and like tally what we got right, what we got wrong, and
Oh,
everything
yeah,
on the
like,
next.
okay. I was going to say, you mean the thing that we do every week?
I mean, but like have
But I
like
hear what you're saying now.
no, I'm saying like
We
save
got- we-
megabytes leading into that one. Do like an hour and a half or 2 hour episode, and just like throw everything out on the table. And then after
Let's
we
get
watch
some,
the episode,
let's get some Star Wars nerds in here too, man.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get Jim up in here. He's a Star Wars nerd.
yeah,
Get Joel, maybe Henry. You know, we'll get the team.
yes,
We're bringing the band back.
do a
together.
round table, man. The Knights of the Nerd
What is
Table.
it? What is it on our? What is? It makes me laugh every time. It's just a funny when you load. Like if you go to our Pages app and you load, there's something on here. Hang on, it takes like 5 seconds to load. But it makes me laugh every time.
When
I
you say
pop
5 seconds, you're actually talking about a long time,
it. Yeah.
which is really weird because it used to take about 5 minutes to get on the internet. You've got mail.
I watch it not pop up now that I want to talk
What
about.
is it?
I remember what it says. It's not doing it right now, but there's like sometimes there's a button on here, or maybe if I'm just on the Facebook, not actual Pages app. If like we're on our page, there's a button that says call to action.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what that does, but
I can't figure out what it does either.
Avengers Assemble.
right? It makes me laugh.
News
You,
team
you
assemble.
say get the band back together. I'm like, dude, let's just hit the call to action button, and if they all just show up like in 5 minutes,
A little alert goes off on their phone like, "Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee." Oh, gotta go.
Geekiest.
You're right.
Geekiest.
it makes me laugh every time I look at that shit.
Awesome.
All right, so yeah,
Good stuff.
I think that kind of puts this another one in the books.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Think so.
October was awesome. I'm gonna miss talking about horror stuff, but
We got a whole nother year.
I'll figure out something else to talk about, I guess. At some point,
Get something.
something else to do.
I guess it's gonna rain.
It's probably
Probably gonna rain.
All right, I think that's going to do us for this week. Remember to catch the video of this whenever it goes up on YouTube. Each portion is individually edited, so you don't have to watch the whole hour and a half thing in one sitting. We've got the podcast, usually goes up on around Tuesday, whenever I don't slack off and put it up on Friday like I did this week. So search on iTunes and Android and podcast apps. You can subscribe to the RSS feed on our websites at www.thegeekyest.com, and look us up on Twitter at The Geekyest. We're also on Facebook. And, our email, thegeekyest@gmail.com. It's pretty much everything's just The Geekyest.
Yeah.
So, that's it. I think that's going to do it for this week. I'm Bert.
I'm Alan.
I'm Jeff.
We're The Geekyest, and we will see you guys next week. Adios, muchachos y muchachas.
Bye.